Let's be honest, finding a cheap flight feels like trying to solve a Rubik's Cube while blindfolded underwater, and with a Ryanair attendant charging you £25 for the privilege. You go online, open Skyscanner, Google Flights, or some sketchy site with 400 pop-ups, and you think you're getting a deal. Then boom! The flight that said £89 suddenly becomes £289 because apparently you clicked seat with oxygen. Airlines are basically magicians. They advertise a cheap flight, then by the time you add luggage, seat selection, a sip of water, and the right to stand in the aisle like a human being, you've spent more than a mortgage payment. So today, I'm going to give you the brutal truth about how to actually find cheap flights without sacrificing your sanity, your comfort, or your spinal cord. Because no one wants to arrive in Bali looking like they've just survived a hostage situation. You know that moment when you finally book a cheap flight, feel proud of yourself, and then you're crammed in the middle seat between a man eating tuna straight out of a can and a baby training for the Olympics and screaming? Yeah, that's the universe reminding you. Cheap isn't always better. We've been tricked into believing cheap means suffering. Like, you want affordable? Cool. Enjoy sitting in a seat designed for toddlers while the person in front of you reclines into your soul. But here's the truth bomb. You can get cheap and comfortable if you know how to play the game. Airlines don't want you to know this, because your misery makes them rich. Step 1. Flexibility is your superpower. Here's the reality. Airline tickets are like dating apps. If you're desperate for one specific date at one specific time in one specific place, you're going to pay through the nose. But if you're flexible, you win. Want to fly to Spain in July? Everyone does. Prices skyrocket. But fly in May or September and suddenly you're paying £60 instead of £260. Flexibility is the cheat code. Be the person who says, yeah, I don't need to fly Friday night when everyone else is rushing to escape work. Instead, fly Tuesday at 6 a.m. You'll pay less, and the plane will be half empty, so you can actually stretch your legs without elbowing someone's grandma. Comfort hack. Tuesdays and Wednesdays are your best bet. Nobody wants to fly those days. It's like being the unpopular kid in school. Cheap, but surprisingly comfortable. Step 2. The 2 a.m. rule. Here's something airlines don't tell you. The time you book matters. Flights are like online dating profiles. They look different at night. Ever checked flights at 2 p.m. during your lunch break? Prices are sky high. Why? Because everyone else is doing it too. The airlines know you're at work, stressed, hungry, and desperate. That's when they hike prices. Now, check at 2 a.m. Half the world is asleep. Demand is low, prices drop. Boom. You've just saved £100 for the same seat. And let's be real, if you're awake at 2 a.m., you're either regretting a text you sent or spiraling on TikTok. Might as well book a flight while you're at it. At least one of your late night decisions will take you somewhere good. Step 3. The stopover illusion. Non-stop flights are the dream, but airlines know you'll pay extra to avoid sitting in a random airport pretending to enjoy 12-pound soggy sandwiches. Here's the trick. Sometimes adding a stopover saves you hundreds. Example, London to New York, direct, £550. London to Reykjavik to New York, £320. And you get a free mini trip in Iceland. You sacrifice maybe 4 hours of your life, but you keep £230 in your bank account. That's basically 2 nights in a decent hotel, or 5 nights if you're brave enough to use hostels with dodgy shower curtains. Comfort hack. Don't fear the stopover, embrace it. Treat it like a freebie adventure. Worst case, you nap in an airport chair and get free Wi-Fi. Best case, you explore a new city without paying for it. Step 4. The VPN trick. Airlines love to stalk you. The moment you search flights to Paris, they log it, track it, and next time you check, the price magically jumps. It's not inflation, it's manipulation. The solution? A VPN. Pretend you're searching from another country. Suddenly, the price changes. Sometimes by £50, sometimes by £200. Same flight, different number, because apparently, your postcode determines how much the airline thinks you're willing to suffer. Pro tip. Search as if you're in a country with lower incomes. Boom, prices drop. It's basically financial catfishing. Step 5. Luggage is where they rob you blind. Here's the scam. The ticket is £39, but the baggage fee? £75 each way. Suddenly, your cheap flight is the cost of a small car. Comfort hack. Pack like a minimalist. Wear your heaviest clothes on the plane. Stuff your jacket pockets like you're smuggling snacks into a cinema. Layer up until you look like Joey from Friends wearing Chandler's entire wardrobe. Trust me, it's worth the awkward sweat at security. That's 150 pounds saved. Money that could go toward cocktails, food, or, let's be real, paying off the overdraft you'll definitely hit on this trip. Step 6. Loyalty without being loyal. Airline loyalty programs are like toxic relationships. They promise you the world, then give you crumbs. Oh, congrats! You've flown 20 times. Here's a free keychain. No thanks. But if you play it smart, credit card points and airline partnerships can give you free upgrades, lounge access, and actual comfort without you having to sell a kidney. Hack. Sign up, use them only when it benefits you, and never marry yourself to one airline. It's like dating casually, but collecting free dinners along the way. Step 7. Don't fear budget airlines. Just outsmart them. Budget airlines have a bad rep. And fair enough, they charge you for breathing. But sometimes, they're worth it. Flying to Italy for 19 pounds? Yes, please. But here's how they get you. Want a seat? 15 pounds. Want to print your boarding pass? 20 pounds. Want to bring a bag larger than a shoebox? 40 pounds. Suddenly, your 19 pounds flight is 94 pounds. Comfort hack. Play their game better than them. Book early, bring only a backpack, check in online, and sit wherever they throw you. You'll still be laughing all the way to Rome with money to actually eat pizza when you get there. Step 8. Upgrades for pennies. Here's a dirty little secret. Sometimes, if a flight isn't full, upgrades are dirt cheap at check-in. You go from sitting with knees in your chest to stretching out like royalty. For less than the price of 2 airport sandwiches, I once paid 40 pounds extra for an upgrade. 40 pounds? That's the same price the budget airline wanted to charge me to pick my seat. Except this seat came with champagne, and legroom, and dignity. So always ask. The worst they can say is no. The best? You go from economy peasant to business class legend without remortgaging your house. Step 9. Hidden city trick. There's this thing called hidden city ticketing. Let's say you want to go from London to Chicago. Direct flight is 500 pounds, but London to Dallas with a stop in Chicago is 350 pounds. Solution? Book the London-Dallas flight, get off in Chicago, and don't take the second leg. Boom. You've just hacked the system. Airlines hate this. Like, they'll blacklist you if you do it too much. But if you're sneaky, you save loads. Just don't check a bag, because your suitcase will go to Dallas while you're living it up in Chicago. Step 10. The last-minute luxury. Sometimes waiting until the last minute pays off, especially for long-haul or premium cabins. Airlines would rather sell a seat cheap than fly empty. I once knew a guy who booked a first-class seat to Dubai 48 hours before the flight, for less than the cost of an economy ticket. He drank champagne the entire way and came back bragging like he'd discovered fire. Comfort hack. If you've got flexibility and guts, wait it out. You might just score a seat so comfortable you forget you're in the sky. Here's the thing. Traveling isn't just about saving money. It's about freedom. It's about being able to say yes to adventure without your bank account screaming no. We live in a world where airlines try to punish us for wanting to explore. They profit off our fear, our stress, our lack of options. But once you learn the hacks, you take back control. You realize you don't have to choose between cheap and comfortable. You can have both. You just have to outsmart the system. And when you step off that plane, legs stretched, money saved, dignity intact, you realize the real win isn't just the flight. It's proving that you can travel the world without being broke or broken. Airlines don't want you to know this, but here it is. The comfort you want? It doesn't have to cost thousands. The cheap deals you crave? They don't have to feel like punishment. The truth? Flying cheap and comfortable isn't about luck. It's about strategy, about knowing the game, and playing it better than the people who set the rules. So next time you're hunting for flights, remember this. You're not broke. You're not desperate. You're just smarter than the airline that's trying to rob you. And that's the biggest flex of all.